kind of a public service announcement segment because in the past week, the CDC came out to say that they've been investigating a multi-state outbreak of a multi-drug resistant bacteria that's in eye drops.
Oh, thank God I don't use eye drops.
Oh, you don't?
No.
All right. So, and this bacteria is Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which I just call it Pseudomonas. Now, have you guys heard of MRSA or MRSA?
Yeah, we've talked about it before.
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay, so MRSA is the bacteria that you always hear about, like, oh no, grandpa got MRSA or whatever, and like it's like a big deal. So as a doctor, like to me, MRSA is like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal when it happened back in like the late 90s because MRSA stands for methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. Staph aureus is like a bacteria on your skin, and methicillin was the way that you treated it. And so when the methicillin-resistant staph came out, it was a big deal. Well, then more antibiotics came out, and so it kind of is not even a thing anymore. And it's really the only type of staph you see anymore is resistant to methicillin. But Pseudomonas, like, you know, so on the doors of patients' rooms, they'll say, oh, you know, you have to gown up because it's contact precautions, which mean the patient has an infection. So if they have Pseudomonas or something, I'm just like, whatever. If I see they have Pseudomonas, I'm like putting on a hazmat suit because you do not want to get Pseudomonas. And this Pseudomonas is multi-drug resistant.
Where do you find that at?
I'm going to tell you.
Oh my gosh.
It's very exciting, isn't it? Okay, so I want to talk a little about Pseudomonas because to me, this is the velociraptor of bacteria. Like you do not want to mess with this one, okay? It's a gram-negative rod, which just describes the type of bacteria. It has flagella on it, which is basically a tail. Yes, it can move. It's a mobile bacteria. It has very strong cell walls, which make it able to survive in very harsh environments. A lot of bacteria, if they don't have a host, they die. Pseudomonas can live in very, harsh circumstances. It also has pumps in its cell wall, so if toxins get in it, like antibiotics, it can pump them right back out. Like it's a nasty bug. It's resistant to a lot of antibiotics. Like, even like normal Pseudomonas is resistant to a lot of stuff. And this one is a multi-drug resistant, even resistant to carbapenem, which is one of the strongest antibiotics that we got out now. It's an opportunistic pathogen though, which means if like say you're healthy and you get Pseudomonas on your skin, it probably won't do anything. But like if you're, older or if you get ill with something else, then it will just kind of like take over everything.
Yeah, like immune deficient people.
Correct, yeah. Or like say you get like a pneumonia, like say you got COVID and you got COVID pneumonia and then you had Pseudomonas, you were exposed to it, like it could get into your lungs and it could murk you. Like it will absolutely kill you. And so one thing about Pseudomonas, which is very unusual, it gives off a very characteristic blue-green color. And I actually brought a picture. I pulled this off the dermnetnewzealand.org site. And you can see that this person had a Pseudomonas infection in their toes. And you see that blue-green tinge? Like that's very characteristic of Pseudomonas. And so when I'm treating people at my wound clinic or at the hospital and I have a dressing that has blue-green on it, I'm like, that patient has Pseudomonas.
That's wild.
So it is most commonly found in soil or water. That's the common place.
Is there like a common, is it like all over the world or is it like most common like
it can be
certain
anywhere.
places?
Yeah, it can be anywhere. It can be on your skin. So anyway, so the CDC has been tracking 50 patients in 11 states over the last 8 months. And what's unusual is they've isolated the Pseudomonas because it's so resistant to everything. They sequence the genome, and the genome is the same in all 50 patients in all 11 states, which means that it's coming from the same source. So when they figured that out, they were like, where is this coming from? So they started asking people like, what have you been doing lately? And they started asking these questions. Well, come to find out, they have all used eye drops, and almost all of them have used this one specific brand of eye drops, which I'll say in a minute. But the states involved, oh, there it is. It's Ezra Care Artificial Tears. But the states involved are California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Nevada, Texas, Utah, and Washington. So if you live in one of those states and you have that brand of eye drops, you probably should dump them. Because of those 50 people, they've had people that just got like colonization where they didn't get really sick, but they've had people go blind and they've had people die from this Pseudomonas.
What are their demographics? Like what's their age and stuff?
I don't have that information. I didn't have that. The CDC just released this press release. It wasn't like a research thing.
Well, I just know that like my dad, he used to use a lot of eye drops when he'd go
Really?
to bed. Like every night before he'd go to bed, he used artificial
If you live in
tears.
one of those states and you have those eye drops, I would seriously toss them out. So if you have friends that have contacts or use eye drops and they live in one of those states I listed, you should probably share this video with them.
Yeah.
Can it be spread?
So like if I have Pseudomonas, I can give it to you, and then you would be colonized. And like I said, if you're not sick, it probably won't do anything to you. But if you have that Pseudomonas on you and then you got sick, you could literally die from it. And there's not a lot of antibiotics to treat this. This is a multi-drug resistant Pseudomonas, which makes it very, very dangerous.
Jeez, that's wild.
Pretty crazy stuff.
It is.
So
makes your skin turn blue.
And if you turn blue-green, you have it. Yeah, you look like one of the Na'vi from Avatar.
We gotta
go to your doctor.
Stop the butterfly kisses. That's what we have to do. Stop butterfly kisses and then it won't spread it.
That's right. All right, guys.